Hey, yo, what's up? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com, SEScoops.com, and BrassRingMedia.com. My cat just jumped from my tray table. Hello, this is Rumored Innuendo, and I'm here with Mr. Robert Karpelis, who's making his return to the show after.
And what a glorious return that was! That we are less than 30 seconds in. We get our first "Damn It, Dom" of the episode. But it's good to be back. I was off for a few days. I was out of town, up in beautiful New York City, and it was a nice time there. But I am fully read up, caught up, plowed through Wrestle Dream and Raw, and I definitely watched SmackDown.
All right, let's start there.
SmackDown was a long time ago, so I may have to go back into the old. And Dom's gone. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. My cat was knocking around some Tic Tacs, so he knocked it off the sheet counter. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat real quick.
Say hi to some folks in the chat.
Triple E, he says, "What's up?" Jeff Hanger says,
Are we going with Triple E now instead of just E?
I always called him Triple E.
I've always been calling him E.
Either one's fine. I'm sure he's up for either or, because he's got more E's in different social accounts.
He got the F out.
He got the that's right. Jeff Hanger says hello, and I glad to see Robert is back and he wasn't drowned in a fish tank. Oh my god, yes. Dre,
wait, did that really? I was assuming this was jet lag and a lack of sleep, but I had this crazy ass hallucination that there was a professional wrestling match that involved a fish tank and a guy drowning another guy. But that couldn't have really happened.
That really happened. Really happened.
Thank you, Johnny Carson. What was that for? Yes, sir, it really happened. No, it was
really
weird. It was some weird, wild stuff.
Hold on.
What is going on, dude? Your cat has turned full heel. Oh, you were getting a prop. I thought that was Razor coming at you.
No, not yet.
Alt Jake says it should have been full of piranhas. That was literally the first thought that I had, that they were going to have like biting fish hanging off of them or something like that.
That would be just ludicrous, even more so. Well, Robert, I guess let's start there then. How did you feel about Wrestle Dream?
So I'm going to pull up the card.
Okay.
Because I overall, it was, for the most part, kind of what we expected to feel going into this show.
Mm-hmm.
Namely, boy, there's a lot of matches.
Yes.
And Wrestling Old Head, that's a great question. Did you ever get your vehicle back from the main event monster and the artist formerly known as Kona Reeves? Those of you who don't know what that's talking about, BRCW, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling's Summer Smash, had a Falls Count Anywhere in Boca Raton match. The video is up online on YouTube. May or may not be a cameo of me being carjacked and then my car being stolen and driven throughout Boca. Fun fact, kids, if you have a nice sports car and you let wrestlers drive it, they will absolutely do 90 miles an hour on pedestrian roads.
That's concerning.
And you will have to have spray tan cleaned off of the leather seats.
I believe that firmly.
Anyway, Wrestle Dream opened perfectly, by the way. I love this notion of your pre-show match bled into the start of your live show in the hopes that you had people watching on HBO Max, watching the free pre-show, and then getting to the oh my gosh, the match isn't going to be over, we're starting the live pay-per-view, and then you open with a match. Like, it's just a great little bit of chaos.
I liked it a lot. Yeah,
I did not mind that. I thought that was a nice little touch. And then there was a lot of like good but not great. Like Jamie Hayter and Thekla was perfectly fine, but who did it help? Jamie Hayter beat Thekla. So is now Thekla's storyline over? Is she now vanquished? I don't quite know. It was fine. Everybody was banned from ringside. We thought that this was going to wind up setting up the women's blood and guts match, but instead it was just this was a wrestling match.
That was it.
Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks, again, very good match. I thought it was one of the more enjoyable matches on the show. I liked the $500,000 bit. I thought that was kind of funny, this idea that they were fighting with this sort of desperation. And then after, Scott Chapman and I talked about this when we were previewing Wrestle Dream. Kenny Omega is a dude where you only get a few bites of the apple left with this guy.
Sure.
We're seeing the end of John Cena's career. We're seeing the end of AJ Styles' career coming up. We're saying goodbye to Tanahashi. It feels like Nakamura is starting to wind it down. We saw what happened with Kota Ibushi. He comes back for basically 1.5 matches, and now he's on the shelf for 2 years, possibly entirely. So
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe is going to be hanging it up after this contract. So the idea that you could have had Kenny advertised in some form or fashion on the show, and he wasn't, and then you send him out here for this, didn't feel like the highest and best use of Kenny Omega, because you were further storyline. Dude, your cat is on fire.
How do you think he knocked over some coins? I don't know what he's doing.
On full Scott Hall.
Yes.
Like, we're gonna need to have one of them Kevin Nash interventions. Is this felt like a Dynamite storyline, not a you already have a captive pay-per-view audience. I don't know necessarily what it got you.
No.
Kyle Fletcher beat Mark Briscoe. Very good match, but again, and this is why I had this was struggling with how to address Wrestle Dream. The show overall was not a bad show, but it leads to these questions that I don't think on Dynamite we're really going to get the answer to. Namely, you had Mark Briscoe beat MJF, which was a signature win.
Right.
And you followed it up with nothing. He wasn't the first guy to go after Kyle Fletcher, wasn't the second guy, wasn't even the third guy to go after him. And then he gets in there with Fletcher and loses to Kyle Fletcher. And I don't know that I would have beat MJF and given somebody that momentum just to have him get fed to Kyle Fletcher. You could have gotten to this match without that.
Absolutely, you could have, yeah.
And then it was over, and it's like, okay, well, kind of now what? Chris Statlander and Tony Storm had a very good match. A lot of these were these were B+ matches. Like, they're not bad matches. These are not like, oh, this was a waste of time and energy. And Statlander gets the win. It felt like an earned, hard-fought win, and we had kind of predicted that we were going to get Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa going after the women's tag titles. And then when Mercedes came out and confronted Chris Statlander, we're like, okay, we're setting something up here. Great. And then we got a friggin' match.
Right.
Why?
On
a show that was already blocked, outside of the pre-show, was already blocked to be a 4-hour show. You then added another 20 minutes to it.
It's just pointless.
It didn't help anything. I don't think the crowd was particularly, enamored with the third women's match on the main show in what felt like a foregone conclusion kind of match. I guess they wanted to rush getting that pre-tape of Tony and Mina hugging in the back and then being like, well, we both lost. So now we need to unite our forces to go after the tag titles.
Right. But I guess you could have done that all on Wednesday here coming up.
You could have. But I think that they were like, oh, crap, we got to get to this thing right away.
Yeah.
The men's tag title match, great match. It feels weird to say I felt it went a little long. Like, it was almost 30 minutes, but it was just a lot of good stuff.
Right.
So it's like, can you have too much ice cream? And, if you've lost your left foot to diabetes, yes, you can.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. I do like that they're continuing it with Brodito and stuff like that. They do get really good chemistry together. It's like, when the stars align kind of thing. So ride with it.
But Bandito he looked like a friggin' star. Like, they finally put it together. Having a kid with a mask after, like, Bandito felt like the heir apparent to that Rey Mysterio slot. He is humble, but he overcomes all these adversities. You had him pin Okada. Like, fantastic.
Right.
Brody yelling at him, like, in a firing him up kind of way. Like, they felt like a tag team. This was an absolute grand slam home run.
Absolutely, yeah.
Hangman beating Samoa Joe. Fine match. That, with the post-match angle, this again felt like, boy, that would have done a lot better for Dynamite.
Sure, yeah, no, it's a good point.
If I ordered this pay-per-view and I was like, I want to see the best version of Samoa Joe and Hangman Adam Page. We didn't get that. We got the like, well, they're still kind of friends and respect match.
Yeah.
You could have done that match on Dynamite
Mm-hmm.
and then done the post-match angle where the ops turn on Hangman, and now you have a passionate, angry Samoa Joe who has a reason to go after Hangman Adam Page instead of this trumped up situation that we got.
Right.
You literally could have, and people, it's like it's the Vince McMahon rule of like you don't just bury something, you give a different pitch. You didn't need to do the Lee Moriarty open challenge. You could have done the open challenge and it be answered by Joe. And you do the babyface match, and then they do the handshake, and then after, oh my God, the ops have turned on him.
Sure, yeah.
How many babyface heel turns is this for Hobbs? It's got to be like 1,000. Like he literally is the big show.
That's what I felt really bad about. Is like this is like Hobbs going back and forth yet again, where it's just like he's just floating in purgatory, basically.
Oh, and this is speaking of floating purgatory. I completely forgot there was the Hurt Syndicate demand match.
Yeah.
Which was a total step backwards. Like it was fine, but it was not where we were going with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just again, hey, the demand are losers. It's just more a reminder to that, I think.
And then the show ended. The main event was Samoa Joe versus Hangman Adam Page, and then nothing else happened.
Nothing else happened whatsoever.
So this is the beauty of being away on vacation. I don't check the internet while I'm away. I don't want anything spoiled. I don't know what the audience response was to this match. So I'm coming at this fairly pure. I may be way off base here. People may have been like, this was amazing. This was revolutionary. This was every bit of the payoff we were hoping for. I hated just about every moment of this. Because it lacked seriousness. Mm-hmm. There was so many like, here's a fish tank, here's lighter fluid, here's a belt, here's Sting. Like, what? And then the finish was the Scorpion Deathlock.
That was, yeah.
And you don't even hear the I quit.
No, you don't. It was just like a submission. That was it. There's like no microphone. There's nothing going on. Robert, I was like, the good takeaways from this, I will say, like, Darby's just really good at being that fight from under kind of babyface. Like, all hope is not lost, but him being dragged around and stuff like that was quite the visual. Like, I will give that. I do like the aspect of Sting showing up and the ending of it actually being a Scorpion death drop and Deathlock, almost like homage back to Sting, kind of Sting passing the torch in certain ways. I did appreciate that. The fish tank was just so stupid. It's like, and pointless. And it again puts a ceiling or a cap on an audience that you're trying to accrue. If you're AEW and you're trying to bring in more of an audience, you are limiting yourself right here. I know this is a pay-per-view and I know it's not on TBS or anything like that, but it's not like they really hold back anything on Dynamite a lot of ways too. So
there's straining credibility, and then he's going to drown a dude in a fish tank.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It just felt like goofy. Like it was like it gave Ace Ventura vibes.
It was
that and like sticking him with skewers. Like I just it didn't work for me. And the Sting return felt odd.
Okay.
Because what is the payoff here? Sting has retired. Mm-hmm. He's been gone. That's okay. We moved on. That like he gave the mantle to Darby.
Sure.
He has then said, after I think 2025, he's not going to do appearances anymore in the face mask, in the face paint. Like you're just going to go meet Steve Borden, nice old dude who's super into Jesus. Like great. But instead, you had this like moment where Sting has risen, but you're never going to get a payoff. And did they say why Brian wasn't there?
No, that's a good point. I didn't catch it if they did, but no, and that's a good point. He wasn't there.
And it's also odd that if this was supposed to be Darby getting the definitive finish to end the reign of terror of Jon Moxley, he wasn't the one that did it. Sting had to bail his ass out. So Sting is kind of the guy who gets the heat.
Right. And again, to what you've been saying, reviewing the show, is where do you go from here after this? When it comes to the Death Riders, you will have a new heel faction now in the Ops, like doing their thing. What is the next step here? You're not going to get Darby like we were maybe speculating that potentially like getting Cesar or Claudio and Pac and everybody because Moxley lost. Are they going to abandon Mox? What's next for them? Like the guys all tried drowning you, Darby. Like, are you still with that movement? That's
and then part of what's crazy is, so we were kind of armchair quarterback booking, and I had put up a scenario in some world where I said, maybe it's Darby becomes the new leader of the Death Riders,
right,
and they cannibalize Moxley, and you get that like Scar from the Lion King moment.
Mm-hmm.
But that got undercut by the fact that you literally had the Ops turn heel right before this main event to create another heel stable where you still have the Don Callis family and the Death Riders.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. It's a head scratcher, Robert. I'm not sure where their next step is and what they're going to do on Dynamite when it comes to that. There's not a whole lot advertised for Dynamite, as a matter of fact. We do have a follow-up. It's the AEW Unified Championship. Remember that? Okada holds that, and he's going up against Bandito to follow up from the pay-per-view, Robert.
Which I like.
Yeah.
I like that we're following up the pin for a singles match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a qualifier match, like it's a straight up match.
Right.
And it's like one of the nice things about is the follow up. Like I feel like, all right, so the Ops have turned heel. Eventually you can get to the Ops and the Hurt Syndicate. Like that feels like that's a strong match for their next pay-per-view.
Oh, well, don't worry, Robert. It's tonight. It's happening tonight. Ops.
What?
Ops versus Hurt Syndicate.
Wait, sir, are you?
Yes.
Should have read the son of a bitch.
It's happening tonight.
Well, I give up. That's it for me. I'm done. Thanks for tuning in, folks. That's the end. That's the end of Rumor and Innuendo. This is our series finale. Are you serious?
100% serious. The trio.
You literally had the chance to build to what feels like a pretty epic 6-man that you could do in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, and then get to Joe versus Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, they're just going to give it to you tonight. Cool.
Just
awesome.
Right now.
Tony's just knocking it out of the park. What else we got for this show?
Hey, did you know Mercedes Moné? How many belts do you think she holds right now, Robert?
Couldn't tell you. The average wrestling fan needs at least 3 belts just to keep their pants up. So
believe you me, you times that by 4, and you got 12 belts.
Should you just say times that by 4?
Yes, multiply by 4. I'm not a math major, Robert.
Hold on, let's pause for surprise.
And now, if you're not, we also have the AEW Women's Tag Team titles. The bracket is going to be revealed, Robert. So it is happening.
The bracket.
Bracketology. We're going to get Digger Phelps on in there with his highlighter.
I don't know that. I'd rather have Dickie V.
Baby.
And guys, speaking of your Dickie V, can we talk to you about Blue Chew?
Man.
Guys, enter the room. Dick Vitale first. Blue Chew isn't just a tablet. It's a cheat code for your crotch. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. Like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk and a gym membership. Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code RUMOR at checkout. Pay $5 for shipping. That's it. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. Tom, I also watched Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why I said it like that, and yet here we are. They needed to pivot, as Ross Geller would say. And I think they did a pretty interesting job with this.
So what I said on Tuesday was I thought they did too. I did think it was pretty telegraphed. You could tell that they were pivoting, but I don't necessarily feel like that big of a problem either. if that makes any sense, because like the fact that Heyman's just like, oh well, I knew all along, like that the real people I wanted to put my chips behind were
Well,
Braun.
no, but what I love about that was that it's all, bogus. It's all a lie.
Yeah.
It's they told that story within the show. The idea that Paul Heyman was opening the show talking about like this was always the plan.
Mm-hmm.
I was just using Seth because Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, these guys were the future. And then later, when he gets confronted by Becky Lynch, it was, I didn't have a choice. I didn't know. I tried to save Seth. I tried to get between him and them, but I'm still with you, Becky. Like you're the they're playing the Heyman character perfectly. That he's going to continue to spin and spin and spin, and it works. There was that second promo later in the show with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, where they got pulled from the Battle Royal, which was a smart decision by WWE because you needed a contender to go after CM Punk.
Right.
And you couldn't have it be Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed. That when they take their first swing at it, they got to win. And it's too soon to go ahead and pull that trigger. So the idea of we're doing a Battle Royal, and if Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed don't win it, they look like idiots. So the fact that Braun Breaker was being such a dick to Adam Pearce, and Pearce is like, well, guess what? You guys are not in the Battle Royal. Now you've ignited a fire with them. And then when Paul couldn't get the job done, it was, hey, look at my track record. Dude, Razor's just on fire. And I can't wait till Paul explain. I talked about this with Scott, and I said, this is why I love this so much. Because if there's one dude who needs to be in this spot, in this situation, it's Paul Heyman. Because he gets to tell the narrative, which he told a part of on the show, which was, I got in Brock Lesnar's ear, and I made him the next big thing. I got CM Punk, and I took him from a transitional champion into a guy who had one of the all-time reigns. I took a guy in Roman Reigns who was the big dog, and no one cared about him, even though he was in the main event, and made him an all-timer. You can go in the way back machine even further, because Paul Heyman's the guy that put Bam Bam Bigelow on the map. He held that event at Studio 54. He gave Ric Flair a fake award as a way to display, hey, here's this new guy, Bam Bam Bigelow. You got Bronson Reed, who's the next Bam Bam Bigelow. You've then got Paul Heyman saying in the NWA, Cowboy Bill Watts saw nothing in Mean Mark Callis. And I said, give him to me. And that guy became the Undertaker because I really am the Oracle. I see these things down the path. They said, you can't do anything with this Steve Austin guy. Give him to me. So Bill Watts couldn't see anything in the Undertaker. I did. Eric Bischoff couldn't see anything in Steve Austin. I did. I took Eastern Championship Wrestling. I basically created the friggin' Attitude Era.
Right.
And then, by the way, I created Brock Lesnar and made CM Punk and made Roman Reigns. So you guys are my next thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the narrative. That's why it works. And what makes it even funnier, like Wrestling Old Head points out, Heyman was wise not to mention Curtis Axel and Ryback. He's always going to be selective. He's not going to talk about the time that he aligned himself with the Big Show. He's not going to talk about the time that he tried to make Claudio Castagnoli a thing. He's not going to remind you of the time where he said Ronda Rousey is going to change the face of professional wrestling. It's perfect for within his character. And then the utilization of the fact that you had guys wrestling throughout the show to build to this main event. So you put the tag titles on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee.
Right.
Love it. Great.
I do too.
Because now you've got the possibility of getting New Day going after AJ and Dragon Lee, which means we have the chance of seeing AJ versus Kofi again, which is always a hell of a lot of fun. Yes. And the fact that the Judgment Day lost their tag titles because of Dominic Mysterio's hubris.
Right. Yeah.
That Jay and Jimmy have this tension that I don't love the tension because I don't want to see these guys fight. But the idea of you can be selfless and still be successful and then see that come to bite Jimmy Uso in the ass in the Battle Royal in the main event. Right. Dominic Mysterio retaining over Rusev and then almost winning the friggin' Battle Royal. Like they're really making him full on Eddie Guerrero, using the hammer, getting eliminated and slipping back in there. It's beautiful. I enjoy that immensely. Making it seem as though Maxine Dupree was almost going to win the Women's Intercontinental title in her hometown. Super funny. Like
Yes.
just great old school Vince McMahon style trolling. The finish of the battle royal, Punk on commentary, knowing to put over a guy like JD McDonough, knowing to put over Dominic Mysterio, taking shots at LA Knight whenever he possibly could,
Yeah.
and then getting to that finish of Jimmy kept saving Jay and saving Jay and saving Jay, and then Jay didn't return the favor. And then we're going to get Jey Uso versus CM Punk at Saturday night's main event. And you kind of now are like, we can go down two different paths.
Yeah. So, okay, explain that, because I kind of thought it was almost okay. This further telegraphs that Punk is going to win because we just saw Jey Uso with the championship. But I do see the aspect of you put the title on a heel Jey Uso now, and what kind of elements can that kind of cultivate, I guess, after the fact too.
I think that there's a it's not a heel Jey Uso, it's a cocky Jey Uso
Mm-hmm.
who could potentially win this idea of he's going to do it all on his own, even though we know he didn't do it all on his own.
Right.
And now being the champion, but this time with this more selfish attitude, kind of like when Diesel turned heel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this kind of feels like a little bit. Like he's not going to be, he's a heel, but he's not going to act like a heel. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only reason why I think it's interesting for it to be Jay is there's a world where Jey Uso is the heel champion, and then eventually when he loses it to whoever's ultimately going to surrender it to Braun Breaker.
Oh, okay.
Which could very well be Lesnar.
That's true.
You know, that's a world, that's a scenario, that situation. There's this world where Jay is the world champion, and then is Roman going to go take a run at him?
Do you see a more value though in just giving that title to Punk and having him going on this memorable run until WrestleMania, and then it's ultimately maybe Punk versus Breaker at WrestleMania?
Problem with that is timing.
Mm-hmm.
So Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed need to have some form of an immediate payoff to what happened.
Okay.
That's the situation. That's the concern. That's why they're trying to delay. We're going to get a Saturday night's main event match. Like, let's say Punk wins. Punk beats Jey Uso because whatever. Jimmy doesn't help. Jimmy helps. It goes awry. Who knows? Jay misses his moment of killer instinct. What have you? Your next pay-per-view is Survivor Series. It's War Games.
Mm-hmm.
You can get away with there not being a world title defense.
Absolutely.
So you can kick that can down the road.
Mm-hmm.
December is all about John Cena's retirement.
Right.
So then you're getting to Royal Rumble in January.
Mm-hmm.
Royal Rumble could be a scenario where Braun Breaker beats CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
It does, you know, it feels like when they take that shot, they have to be successful.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you on that.
But there is absolutely a world where Jey Uso wins it because of maybe Braun and Bronson or whatever that may be, and then Punk is feuding with those guys. Everything's kind of on the table right now for the WWE. You know, they're pivoting on the SmackDown side with Jacob Fatu being on the shelf. That we're clearly getting to Drew and Cody again,
Mm-hmm.
which will be fun.
Yeah.
And you know, hope at some point in early to mid 2026 we get a big Jacob Fatu return, a big Seth Rollins return, and we're back to full strength. The nice thing right now is even with a depleted roster, they have a hell of a roster.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, I look back to when I had to work with depleted rosters or seen WWE deal with depleted rosters, you know, like, I guess we're putting the world title on Khali.
Yeah.
Like, let's do JBL and Bradshaw with barbed wire cages, like that kind of nonsense. Here it's, man, we got like 12 different. There was a scenario during Raw where people thought, oh my God, are we going to get Dominic Mysterio versus CM Punk?
Right. That's what, then like they made you believe it too. It was fun stuff. Punk was great on commentary. It's just, I know he's great on the mic, but he's able to pick it up so quickly, being behind the commentary table and tying stories and everything into that. He's just really
I
good.
loved when he was on commentary years ago when he had that shoulder injury and he brought back the old school Blazer.
Yeah.
That was some of my favorite versions of CM Punk.
Yeah.
He's so wildly entertaining on commentary. He's gonna make a fortune as a commentator at some point in time.
Absolutely.
And it's gonna be great. And it's like, it's this unsettling world of like, oh, Punk is actually happy. It's just it's gross. It's weird.
I like it. It won't.
Look, it's the beauty of with everything kind of up in the air. If it's going to be up in the air, you want it to be up in the air in October, not in March.
Sure. Yes.
You know, once you start getting into Rumblemania season, you really want things crystallized. You really want things carved in stone, and you know where you're going. Right now, you can kind of move chess pieces a little bit, and the one chess piece we're not moving is our time slot. We are every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern. We are on a plethora of platforms. With big news, we will be adding a new platform for you to be able to watch us starting on Monday. New place to catch Rumor and Innuendo. We're taking over the wrestling world, but you can still catch us on the YouTube channel for ad-free shows, the YouTube channel for Rumor and Innuendo, as well as on X, on the WW Creative _ish X account, the @Dominic D'Angelo X account, the @SE Scoops X account. Feels great to be back. So happy to be here. Boy, we covered a lot. We'll be back tomorrow to cover the brilliance of Tony Khan booking. So on behalf of the only man that can pull off a peach shirt, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I like peach, but you can also get orange Tic Tacs. That might